All right, guys, I want to welcome you to another episode of the Do Work Podcast. The Do Work Podcast is a weekly podcast where we discuss all things mindset, motivation, entrepreneurship, and how to live your best life possible. Today is no different. Oh, I almost forgot something. Free thinking. I know. I'm 100% on this free thinking trip right now because I feel like nobody does it anymore and everybody just goes along with the group thing. But I have an awesome guest today. So he's a super cool dude, friend of mine. I can't wait to bring him on. I don't even tell y'all what we're going to talk about yet. I just, let me bring him on. So let me bring my good friend on. Hold on. Y'all ready? Boom. Here's my guy, Matt Carvalho.
What's up, Matt? What's up?
You,
I am wonderful. We're so good.
Good.
How are you doing?
Matt, where do you live?
I live in Massachusetts. I have been born and raised here. Some people don't think I'm from Massachusetts when they first meet me, but let me just say this. We park our cars. Does that help you a little bit?
Yo, you sound like, I never really heard it until today. As much as I talk to you, this is the first time I hear it. I'm like, oh shit, he is from Massachusetts. So, oh my God. So Mac and I work together in the fitness community. We both are master trainers and instructors, and we are very blessed to travel this country and even this world and do what we love. So Matt, tell everybody what you do, what you teach, and how you got into fitness. That's important because January is all about fitness. So
yeah,
you got into fitness.
Surprisingly, I got so many influx of people in January 2nd. I was so shocked because I'm speaking on my experiences. I literally don't get that influx of people till maybe mid-January, early February. Yeah. So to see it skyrocket now, that's incredible. That's number one. I got to say that. But I am in Massachusetts, like I said before. I've been in fitness since 2011, I want to say. I have done everything under the sun. I have friends who said you were a certification whore. And trust me, I definitely believe I was. Looking back, I said, damn, I did all this.
That's
now,
good.
30-year-old me is like, no, you're not doing all that now. I always think it's good to get educated, but right now at this stage of my life, absolutely not. But I do everything from being on the talent team with High Fitness. I am a master trainer for the Soul Fitness brands. I am a master trainer and presenter for SCW Mania and Water in Motion. If you have any questions about any of that, let me know. DM me. I would love to connect with you. But I need to tell you how I met Diva, okay? I want to tell the audience how I met you. Okay, I'm going to say this was maybe California. I went to California Mania maybe 2022. You just started.
Yeah, SCW. Yeah, I think I just started SCW.
I think you just started, or you were maybe a conference behind that. Maybe I didn't meet you at that time. But I said, I'm going to like this chick. I don't know why, but I just said, I need to introduce myself to her. And I just think she just gives me a cool vibe. She reminds me of a lot of girls I went to high school with. I think I'm gonna get along with her. So I introduced myself and I'm like, hey, what's good? And I'm starting to get to know her a little bit more. And I said, there's something about you that I like. I don't know what it is. It's going to come out. Then she said, oh, I'm from the East Coast. I'm like, okay. So I'm from the East Coast. So you know, East Coast people, we tend to...
We vibe. Yes, we do.
Vibe. But then I was like, nope, that's not it. There's something. And then you said something about your wife. I'm like, that's it. That was it. You're gay. That's it. I knew it.
Buddy, I know.
There was something. I'm like, I'm waiting. Like, there's something she's going to say. I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
That was in. I see her every conference. And if you haven't taken her sessions or if you've experienced working or meeting Diva, you're in for a treat. Seriously. If you have not met her in person, if you think she's fire online, you need to meet her in person someday. I'm telling you, you're going to be absolutely amazed with what she does.
Dude, I appreciate you. You're the best for that. You are the best for that. So it's funny that you talk about like I know I like her because she's gay. You know what's funny? All my life, I've been out since I was probably 18. I didn't come out till I was about 18. And even though I've always been gay, it's never been a fucking issue. And I know that's going to sound weird. Like I've never gone somewhere and I thank God for that because there are a lot of people who do deal with a lot of shit in terms of their sexuality. But I don't know. My sexuality just was never an issue for me or anyone around me. And if it was, they never let me know. But I know you live your life as an openly gay male. So like, have you ever like encountered any bullshit? Because my baby brother's openly gay, but I'll tell you that story after you talk. I got a story for you.
Well, I'll just say this. My mother, hi mom, how are you? If you're watching this, love you. She knew when I was 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like my kid's gonna be gay. Because she saw me and I was obsessed with Cinderella growing up. And all I wanted was that damn blue ball gown. And I would swirl around in my grandmother's bathrobe that she cut up for me at 2. And I would just swirl around and just think, I feel so magical. And my mom was like, oh, this kid's probably going to be a little different growing up. But I would say I did have a very supportive family. But growing up for me, I didn't know being gay was a thing. I always knew I liked men. I did. I always knew in my heart of hearts, I said, I like men. I'm not attracted to women. I can respect women. I think there's certain women that are very beautiful, but I've never had that urge to kiss. I mean, I've kissed girls before, in fact, but I never got the same. Because when you kiss someone, you get some fireworks.
You do get the fireworks.
You do get fireworks. It didn't happen with a girl. But my first kiss with a guy was like, ooh.
That was your thing.
That was my thing. And like I said, growing up, I didn't know there wasn't anybody that I could look up to. Mm-hmm. Or I didn't know that was a thing. And was I the weird one? Because I think even back in the day, and I'm much younger than you, it was definitely more of a stigma than what it is now. And
later,
because there's some more things I got to say about that.
But. Yeah, we'll get into that. Was and is still a stigma. I think I will say this, and this is generational. Like I said, I'm a lot older than you. It's generational, and I don't mind telling people my age, just to put it in perspective for the viewers. I'm 45. Okay, so I've seen a lot and I've done a lot, and I've watched like the gay community evolve during this time. And when I was younger, it publicly you could not be gay. I had a lot of brothers, you know what I mean, in my life who they weren't openly gay men, but they were different. And I think that's probably, and I'll say this is why I'm different. So as much as I was in what's considered club culture, like I would go to, I was going to gay clubs from a very young age, literally just to go dance. My degree is in dance and choreography. Mm-hmm. So I was always out dancing. The people I was surrounded by as I was growing up were gay professionals. So yeah, I partied and I hung out, but the people I remember, they had jobs. They were CEOs. They wore suits. They like drove nice cars, had nice houses, and it was like, yeah, they were gay and they weren't necessarily open about it, but it wasn't a fucking issue. Like they just lived their life with their husband, their boyfriend, or their wife, or their girl, and they just kept it going. Like the women, so
it was like extremes a little bit, because it's either that or when I was growing up too, it was very obvious.
True.
I would say, and I'm not trying to sound pretentious or whatever, but I feel as though even growing up seeing reality TV, it was kind of, in a way, I mean, you live your best life, but some of it felt like a mockery.
It still feels like a mockery to me. Like, it's funny you say that. So when I was growing up, and I'm from Philly, and Philly has a very strong gay community and club culture. And like I said, I thank God every day that I did not get sucked into that environment, because the club culture, I mean, that ain't it. I don't care what nobody said. That's just not it. I've met a lot of amazing people, some still alive, some unalive, but that shit wasn't it. And now what I think I see is people being openly gay for show. Like, it's just so much. Like, even when I see a lot of these young females who are like, you know, I mean, clearly they like women, enjoy women. All right, live your life. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought when I was younger, maybe I was interested in women. But I mean, when I see like a 12-year-old girl deciding that, she wants to fully dress like a boy and cut her hair off and take her boobs down and all this shit, I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, I think the big difference for me between now and then was back then, you just were gay. Like, I'm a woman, I'm gay. If I had masculine energy or tendencies, I did. But I didn't wake up and try to be a guy. And there were women who were harder, but even then they carried themselves a certain way.
Yeah.
Now I feel like all the girls who are gay, like they want to look like guys and be like guys. I'm not even talking about people transition. I'm just talking about like straight dudes. Like dudes. Like, from the fades to, like, it's a look. And I'm more interested in the fact that they're not even choosing to be like Black professionals. They want to look like street thugs, which I don't understand. Like, that's weird to me.
And I'll say this, and maybe you can educate the viewers or just even educate myself, but growing up, there's so much for men in every label that you can think of. But when it comes to women, it's either, like you said, the dudes, extreme on one end, or what they call the lipsticks.
Yeah.
Either one extreme or the other. There's no in between any of that.
You know what it is? When I was growing up, and this is where individuality comes into play. I'll never forget having a conversation with a girl. I probably was like 21 or something, or 22, and I thought she was so beautiful. And I was at this club, and it was early, and I'm sitting at the bar, and I say, I talk. I'm like, hey, what's up? My name's Diva. And she literally said to me, what are you? And I was like, huh? Now, mind you, I've been out for a while this one. I was like, what do you mean, what am I? She was like, well, what are you? Like, are you butch? Are you this? Are you that? And I was like, nah, I'm just Diva. And
you could have said, I'm a diva.
Like, she had the right. She had the preference. She was like, well, I only date studs. And I was like, oh. I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm out. So, or I've had like women who are super masculine, studs, look like guys. I've had them approach me and be like, what's up with you? And I'm like, not interested, not my thing. Like, I like women who look like women. I do. So it's interesting to watch right now that like these younger kids are coming out, and they feel like for them to be whoever they want to be sexually, they have to be the opposite sex. And it's a little concerning because they're not even just like, well, I'm going to dress like a guy and I'm going to take my boobs down, do all this other weird shit. They're like, I'm just going to transition into a guy. Now, there's no way anybody can tell me in the community that like these young kids transitioning is okay. Now,
No,
it's weird, right?
that
Because
is weird.
it's
That is
weird.
weird to me. And I feel as though the parents, I mean, it's their decision. I'm just going to say that. If you want to do that for your children, that's your life. We're not here to say anything otherwise. Like, you live your life. But just in my opinion, it's let the kids just be kids. And there's so many stories now of detransitioning.
A ton.
And I think we're going to be seeing more of that. Just wait. There's going to be more stories of that.
I think it's terrible. And it's, mind you, I know plenty of queens who have fully transitioned, but they were adults. They were adults. At 12 years old, let me tell you, at 12 years old, you don't know your ass from your nose.
You don't know your ABCs, your colors. You don't even know your numbers
You
yet.
don't know anything yet. And honestly, until you get to a point where you're being intimate with others, you still really kind of don't know. So when you see things like, they're like, oh, my 2-year-old told me he wanted to be a girl. When a 2-year-old turns 18, he may feel differently. He may wake up and realize he's just a gay dude. Or he may wake up and realize he's just a guy with, because there are men who are straight who just have feminine tendencies. He may realize that. But to allow kids to transition at 2 and 3 and like it's too much. And it's confusing the fuck out of them. And I know it's confusing because it's confusing me. Right.
Or just making up a pronoun nowadays. There's some accounts that just,
dude,
I think they're trolling. They have to be. They have to be trolling me. Because
everybody got mental health issues simultaneously.
Please in the comments, okay? Please in the comments. Do you know anybody who really, and I mean really, wants to be identified as it? And I'm not talking cousin it from the Addams family. I really want to know. Please put in the comments. Do you know anybody who identifies as it and why? I genuinely want to know why, because that just sounds horrible.
No, I saw it. No. There's this guy I follow. Oh God, wait, let me look it up real quick. His name
or a bug. That's the other one. Why would you want to identify as a bug?
Dude, the new one I saw, which blew my mind. Wait, I gotta find him. Let me find him. I should have been ready because I knew I was gonna bring him up today. It's this guy I follow. Oh God, he's so handsome too. Gay boy, so handsome.
Is he like?
Yes, AJ Sanchez. Do you know AJ Sanchez? Have you followed him?
I think I know. I've seen his stuff.
He
just scrolling. I think I know who you're talking about.
Yes, he has immaculate skin and makeup abilities. I love him. He's gorgeous. But he posted a video recently, and this girl said she is transgender. I don't even know what the fuck that is. And that it was like, I identify as bun buns. I was like, what the fuck is this? And then the other girl was like, well, I identify as a frog. Like, y'all just making shit up. Zim, zer, z. So,
yeah, I'm like, where do I point?
Where do we draw the line? And then the terminology that's being used, honestly, is concerning. Like, well, you need to be re-educated. Be educated. Wow. There's only 2 genders. Like, this is not even a discussion. Like, these are things you can't change. Now, you can, and I just said this recently, you can change the paint job. You can, like, switch out parts. But just because you dress it up as an Escalade don't mean it ain't a fucking Ford Fusion. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can do all this stuff, but the core inside is still what it is. So for people to think that they can, they got 20 million pronouns. You got people
every day
that men can have babies. Can men have babies, Matt?
No. And if we can have babies, you know how rich we would be? Isn't there a thing that you could own half of Disney if you were a male that could have a baby? Wasn't
Like,
that a thing?
dude. So this is the new thing now. Men can have babies, right?
And menstruate. They can menstruate apparently too.
Yo, yeah, I saw a video about that, and I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, it was a
God
video.
knows this, and I would love to be educated on how I can.
Dude, first of all, but this is where it goes into the mockery part. Like, so you transition to being a woman, and your takeaway from the female experiences, oh, like, oh God, I should have put videos up. I fucked up, but whatever. But the video was like, oh, I'm having terrible cramps today. This is so stressful. I'm like, bitch,
No, you're not.
I don't know what you having, but it ain't cramps because you don't have a uterus. You can't get it. It doesn't happen to you. So I've never in my life given a shit about anybody transitioning. Live your life. Do I feel you should wait till you're 18? Yeah.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And I've noticed too, it's mostly the men who transition to women who are doing this shit.
It's weird. It's women too. There's some women. It's not as
It's
much.
some women, but I've never heard a woman on there, unless they're making fun of it, saying like, "Oh, I got a boner," or "I got to take Viagra."
It's fucking weird, bro. It's just
Exactly.
I feel like we're in the twilight zone. I feel like we're in the twilight zone. And what happens is when people do too much, because they're doing too much. Gay people been around forever. They've been around for years, right? And yes, there are people who've always hated it. They don't love it, whatever. But I feel like this kind of put us in a place now where people are like, fuck the whole community, all of y'all weird. And I'll be the first to say, one, we're not all weird. We don't all agree with what the hell is going on. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to understand it. But one thing's not going to happen. You ain't going to be re-educating men because there's nothing to re-educate about.
On simple anatomy. On the basis level of anatomy and physiology.
I'm not arguing with nobody over that. That's not even an argument. So one of the other issues was when they were talking about trans athletes in sports. Now, mind you, we have yet to really hear about a female transitioning to male saying, I'm going to go play in the NFL. In fact, she would get killed. She would be done. She would get smashed. It ain't possible. But when you have all these men who are transitioning to women and they're like, yo, let me switch. Boom. Okay. So the big thing now, you got these men who are transitioning to women, want to compete in sports. One, it's dangerous. I don't care how tough you are. I consider myself fairly capable, fairly strong. I can handle mine. I box. And even as a female boxer, when I spar, the worst fighters still have to pull their punches. The worst males I spar, they have to pull their punches because they're naturally bigger and stronger. And like, even if they're unskilled and come with some wild shit, I don't get hurt. They're there to push me and put their weight on me and work, but I still get hurt. So people trying to deny the physiological advantages that men have in women's sports is messed up. And the fact that you can wake up and literally say, I identify as a woman today, and that be your end, is terrible. Like the situation with Leah Thomas, the swimmer.
Mm-hmm. Come on. And then who was the other girl who's trying to, is it Riley Gaines? I think that's who it is. I think she had something on there, and I'm sure someone will put it in the comments, but didn't she have something about how she wanted to help get a scholarship or if she won any money?
Oh my God, we gotta look it up.
There's something about it, like she wanted to donate her funds or anything to have women's sports be women's sports. I remember something like that.
Oh shit, that it needs to be women's sports. It's funny, even Caitlyn Jenner has said something about that. Caitlyn was
And
like,
don't you think the trans Olympics, that is something I would want to tune into?
well, this is the thing, right? Sports at its basic level, right, is about fairness. So when we make it fair, the first thing we do is separate men from women, right?
Oh,
Then
absolutely.
within that, we separate, depending on the level of sports, by age groups or by class size. Like we break it down because the goal is to make it fair. We're not going to make a 6-year-old race an 18-year-old. Why? Because it's not fair. So when you talk about sports and fairness, this shit just ain't fair. And when Lena Thomas went from being a crappy male swimmer to an elite now female swimmer, it was terrible.
The math ain't mathin'.
The math ain't never been mathed. And I felt bad for the girls on the swim team because they were forced to be in the locker room with her. They were forced, and if they said anything, again, that term came up. You need to be re-educated. It's you. You need to go to therapy.
That you're the problem.
And that shit ain't fair. And it's not right. But that's the world we live in. That's the world we live in. And they had these two high school runners. I can't remember what state is running. They were smoking these girls. All of a sudden, there were two boys, two young black males who decided they wanted to be females. Switched to the women's track team, smoked them. Subpar at best when they were on the male team. Went to the women's team, smoked them. These girls losing state champ. Yeah, they do. So the fact that people are like, well, it's discrimination to not allow trans athletes to compete in the sport they identify with is bullshit.
But don't you think the trans Olympics would be something so revolutionary?
It would be fair.
Go nuts over it. Come
It
on.
would be fair.
And it would be fair.
It would be
fair. And I would be really supportive of the trans athletes in the trans Olympics.
I think most people would, because this shit would be fair. It would be fair. You get a bunch of trans women racing each other, that shit is fair. A bunch of trans men competing, that's fair.
Oh, absolutely.
They had trans women who were competing in powerlifting. They were smoking those girls. Smoking them. And again, crappy lifters, not even good. Smoking them. And it's because men are naturally stronger. They just are. And I consider myself a badass. But men are naturally stronger. It is what it is. And for people to continually deny that makes me feel like I live in a damn Twilight Zone.
Exactly. I think it's just for clout.
I think so too.
It's to get media attention. Why else would you do it?
Dude, it's terrible. It takes away so many opportunities from women, and a lot of it makes a mockery of what it means to be a woman. Like I heard this trans girl say that when I'm able to get a uterus transplant, I was like, girl, bye. One, your body is going 100% rejected. Two, you don't have the hips or the other things that you need to bear life. Are you fucking kidding me? You can look how you want to look. You can be how you want to be. I don't care how much you do, they still will not be biological women. Now, I'll call you sis. I will call you Miss Girl. I will call you honey. I will call you whatever you want. When I see you, I'll be like, darling, you are slaying. You are giving me life. Your body, boom. Because it's still somewhat of a caricature of what a woman is. Which is why they go and get the hips and the boobs and makeup and they do all this stuff. Like,
and it's expensive to do.
Mm-hmm.
And especially bottom surgery. Bottom surgery for men to transition to women is super expensive to do.
It's terrible. Yo, have you ever seen the movie Shit. What is the woman?
No, I haven't, but I gotta watch it.
All right, I'm gonna give you the link because it's good. It is good. Matt Walsh. Is it Matt Walsh? Yeah. Matt Walsh. What is a woman? Hold on. I'll make sure I want to tell you the right thing. So Matt Walsh. Yeah, Matt Walsh. That's my guy. He works at the Daily Wire. Now, whether you're conservative or not, or liberal, I don't give a shit. You need to watch that movie. It blew my mind. Like, everybody. And I feel like everything. Like, it was weird. So he goes around the country and asks people, what is a woman? The answers he got were insane. Like, one person was like, well, a woman is, if she says she's a woman. He's like, wait, what? He was like, so what is a woman? Anybody who identifies as woman. Well, how can you identify as woman? Well, you just do. He's like, so if right now I say to you, I'm a woman, we just agree that's what it is? And they're like, yeah. He interviews doctors. Like, I'm gonna give you my Daily Wire code so you can log in and watch it. It's crazy. It's crazy. And the doctors that are like prescribing these kids puberty blockers and shit, like it's mind blowing. I'm surprised this is not illegal. I don't know how this isn't illegal.
How is that legal?
Well, the crazy part is the parents don't get a say. So if an 8-year-old goes to the school counselor and says, a little boy and says, I'm a girl, they have to affirm that. And they don't have to tell the parents.
At 8 years old, that is a shame.
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's like so many cases of it. Like, I was hoping it was like a one-off. Like, oh, this one school is just weird, or this one district is just, or this one town. Nah, it's not a one-off.
No.
It's not a one-off. It's terrible. But the thing I think that bothers me the most is that somebody's like, oh, you got to be re-educated. I'm like, I ain't got to fucking be re-educated. I know what it means to be a woman.
Thing. It broke my heart.
What?
On Jazz Jennings. She was the first young transgender kid.
They did that for money. I don't care what nobody says.
Years ago. And I look back at it now because I thought it was so brave that someone that young was transitioning. And at first I was just very happy for Jazz. And then I saw the documentary and what I'm seeing now, and I'm getting older. And what I've seen is just, she can no longer have an orgasm at all.
She's miserable.
And it's terrible. I feel so bad for her.
I think, I'm going to be honest, I think her parents pimped her out.
I do.
They did it for money. I'm not saying she didn't run in the room and say she wanted to be a girl, but she's terrible.
But that's another documentary to watch because that one really did break my heart.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Did you see the there's this family. Oh, this shit is wild. I can't even make this stuff up. I feel like I'd be making it up. About the baby drag queen. He's like 4 or 5.
Yes.
Lulu something twirls, the baby drag queen. Oh my God.
That's the other thing. No 4-year-old needs to be a drag queen right now. You can have fun and express yourself, but a 4-year-old doesn't go to drag bars.
Well, this 4-year-old does.
It's like taking your 4-year-old to the strip club or to a drug deal.
And that's the thing. But when you say that, then it's your yeah. Like, oh, you're a transphobe and you're against the community, and it's just a show. First of all, I've been going to drag shows since I was young, since I was able to go. Nothing about that is child friendly.
Not one thing is child friendly. Even their names are not child friendly.
All the jokes are usually sexual. The performances are very sexual. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, we're going to let our kids go. Like, when I saw they were taking them to the drag shows and the parents are letting the kids put money on it, I'm like, nah. If you're not going to take your kid to the strip club, don't take your kid to the drag show. And you shouldn't be taking your kid to the strip club at 5, 6, 7, 8. Because you want to expose them and you want to show how cool and liberal and open you are.
No.
Mm-mm.
Just, as I always say, my little finger wave, no.
Well, the thing that's interesting, though, Matt, is I feel like if somebody like myself or you talks about it, like they're going to see you. You're an effeminate male. They're going to be like, that's how he feels. And it's like, yeah, that's how he feels.
And I've never once identified as a woman. Not one time. No. And you can say all you want. Actually, the other day, me and my partner, we were out walking around and we were at a store.
Mm-hmm.
And the associate was asking me like what my pronouns were. And I just looked at him. I'm like, what should I say? Do I want to be an asshole and say my pronouns are your majesty and your highness? Or do I really want to just like swallow the pride and be like, I'm he, him? And he answered for me. He was like, I he, him. I'm like, oh, thank God.
I don't even answer.
So yes, everybody, their pronouns are your majesty and your highness.
When people ask me I had somebody ask me what my pronouns are, and I said diva. I said, my name is Diva. I don't have pronouns.
That bitch. That's another one. My pronouns are that bitch.
Yo, you know what somebody said their pronouns were? This dude that had posted on this one. He was like, my pronouns are, they don't know me, son. Yo, I'm with it. It's going too far. And
I'll respect you, you know what I mean? Because I know people who identify as either non-binary, trans, and of course, I'm going to respect you. I really will. And I never want to mean ill harm to people. But at the same time, it's what bothers me is when, if I don't know you and you come up to me, I was like, oh, she seems like a nice person, or he's very cool. And then they give a major attitude. I identify as a they, them. How dare you misgender me? Yeah. It's like, relax. If you look like a dude or you look like a woman, I'm going to assume that you either are a he, him, or a she, her. I'm going to assume that. And if you said, even if you said to me, hey, like, I don't identify as a she, I identify as a they, them, could you please use my preferred? Sure, I have no problem with that. I'm probably going to call you by your first name.
Yeah, because I'm not doing all that. Yeah, I agree.
I probably will just identify as like, oh, Mac is this, Mac is that, or Diva is this. You know what I mean? It's just when you cop an attitude with me and just get so offended that I misgendered you, and I don't even know who you are, it's hard to relearn as a society to say, oh, they. Like, what's a they? A they is plural, not singular.
Dude.
So it's very hard, especially as we're getting older, and we don't even know how to say things anymore. Do we say Mr. or Miss? Do we even shake hands anymore because of post-pandemic? It's a whole new world.
Yeah, but some of it is bullshit. And this is bullshit. Like, I'm going to identify and address you as what I see. Now, if you tell me it's something different, cool. Like you said, I'll respect you. But I'm not calling you your highness. I'm not calling you no weird shit. I'm not calling you from the third dimension. I'm not doing none of that. You get 2 choices with me. Maybe 3. And that's a courtesy. Because I respect you as a human being. But you're not going to come to me with no extra weird shit. I'm not calling you, I like to be identified as the king of Krypton. I'm not calling you that, bro. We just got to stop talking. And you can't get mad at people for addressing you or saying, "Hey, miss," because you look like a woman, and then you're like, "You're misgendering me. I'm a non-binary frog from Jupiter." Bitch, I'm posting up. Posting up.
Exactly. And then they cop an attitude and they think you're the asshole or you're a transphobe, you're a homophobe, when we're not.
Dude, there was this guy who literally was going to restaurants, taking his phone.
Oh, yes.
Did you see that? He was
That
setting up and be like,
You are literally just doing that for clout.
Oh,
That is a prime example of this is just for TikTok and TikTok only. Let's see how I'm misgendered today so I can post about it on TikTok.
He didn't say that though. He was like, "I'm going out to eat. Hopefully they don't misgender me." And it's like, first of all, bruh, you a dude. You look like a dude. Because let me tell you, just to be clear, and this is the other problem, there are plenty of people who are trans or even people who live in drag who look like fucking women. You wouldn't even know. Part of the problem is now y'all like chicks with beards, or you confuse people, so they don't know what to say to you. So they address what they see. You got long hair and you got great cheekbones and a fabulous beard. You're definitely a guy. You have a fabulous beard. I'm gonna say, "All right, sir, what can I get for you today?" You can't get mad at me like, you misgendered me. I'm a woman. Can you get the manager out here? I'm offended. Like everybody, soft snowflake melting ass is offended by everything. It's ridiculous.
Facts.
It's ridiculous. Like how is your servant supposed to know? They just come in and take your order. Like,
and they don't get paid enough for that.
And even if you want to be an asshole, right? Even if you want to be an asshole and be like, if they said, "Hey, sir, what can I get for you today?" You could just say, "I identify as shit," and then they'll go, "Okay, ma'am, what can I get for you today?" But to want to like start an argument and pick a fight with the sir, them people just trying to do their jobs.
And like I said, they don't get enough for that bullshit. They don't.
They definitely don't. So
they got enough on their plate.
They do.
And then to add that and then get blasted all over TikTok. And then on the video, it's supposed to be, that we need to have sympathy for you and fuck the server who misgendered you.
Dude, it's terrible. I just think it makes the whole community look bad. And this, like, all that fuckery is not the essence of the community. But unfortunately, right now, that's what's getting shown. That's what's getting blasted to the public. So people who never really even had resentment for people in the alphabet community, when Dave Chappelle said that shit made me laugh. I will never stop saying it because there's too many letters now. I don't even know all the letters now, so alphabet kind of rounds it out. But there are people now who don't like or support us because of that. And they think that's everybody, and that's not everybody.
And no, it's not.
Everybody don't think like that, feel like that. Everybody doesn't agree with them sending kids to drag shows. First time I saw that, I was like, "Yo, this is not good." You got this queen walking around in a thong and a freaking 7 or 8-year-old putting money in a G-string, and the mom's like, "Great job." I'm like, what? Like, what is happening? Not cool. Not cool. So I don't know. What do you think we need to do as a community to just end this madness? I don't want to go on and on because this is some serious fuckery and I could talk about this for 20 hours.
So could I. I just think we need a reset. We just need a complete 180, especially, in my opinion, pride events. I think we need a 180 on that because listen, when I was younger, I've always wanted to go to a pride event, but I waited when I was 18 because I knew what kind of stuff was going to happen at pride events.
Good.
And when I went, I just always felt, now I'm speaking to myself as a gay male. I'm not speaking for the lesbian community, the bisexual community, or the trans community. I'm only speaking on my experience. And I feel as though with gay men, unless you are a specific type of dude or you think a certain way, then you are not welcome at pride events. And I got that energy very young.
Gotcha.
And I didn't understand it at the time. I was 18 and stupid. I didn't understand what all that was at the time, but I always felt judged being in those spaces. I've always felt as though because I'm not straight acting, which first of all, what the fuck is straight acting about sucking dick?
Nothing.
What is straight acting about another dude sucking another dude off or fucking them?
Nothing.
What is straight acting about that? That's number one. I never understood that. But unless you were a certain type of male,
Yeah,
you either had to be the extreme macho dude or the real effeminate gay man. And unless you were one of those and you were partying all night, then you weren't welcome at those events.
Well, that's the thing.
And it's just, I think we just need a reset with that. And
a couple of people said this year that they felt like one thing, pride has definitely gone in the wrong direction.
And we need pride.
I'm
all for, I think a pride could be family friendly. Now, hear me out. I think it could. But it needs to have real strong boundaries. Like, we don't need to see your kink and your fetishes. Like, if you want to show off that, do it at night.
I think it should be in the club. Like, do it in the club. Like, do the parade, march, the firemen come out, the gay policemen come out. Like, I think that's great.
And I think it should know, like, there are LGBT in the alphabet soup.
Mm-hmm.
There are people like that. And I think we just need to cut the crap with being half naked. And do you notice it's mostly men?
Yeah, the women, trust me, the women do their stuff in the nightclubs. But I don't go out no more. I'm old.
But I've mostly never seen a lot of women.
They get wild too, but they usually do it.
Some get wild, but it's more often or not, it's the men who are literally out there in a thong. And
in the community, the men still dominate. Like, men still dominate. Like, the community has like a couple of hierarchies. I'll never forget this. It's male. It's like male, white male, then like black guys, and then Latin guys, and then it's like white women. Like there's still hierarchies and conflict within 100%. So I don't know if that'll ever change, but.
And for a community that's all about openness, acceptingness, and loving each other, we sure do label the hell out of each other.
All the time. I don't understand why you can't just be. Like, I don't understand why you can't just be.
Like, we got a term for everything. I don't even know what the hell I would be, but.
I don't have a term. I just do. Like, I had girls, I'll never forget, I dated girls and they would be like, they would see me in a dress and be like, oh my God, you never in a dress? I'm like, yeah, bitch, what's the problem? Like, I can wear a dress. I'm a woman. I wear dresses all the time. I'm going to a black tie event. Absolutely, I'm going to throw this dress and these shoes on. But, like, what? You think I'm
a black tie event?
Yeah, like, just because I'm athletic.
I'm still going to wear it.
Yeah, like, just because I'm athletic and I'm a woman. So, for me, I think this is what needs to happen. One, I think the labels have gone too far. People are too tied to them. Two, we definitely need to put boundaries on where young children fit into the space. I'm not saying if you want to teach your kids about respect, that's one thing. I don't think they need to be at drag shows. I don't need to think they need to be immersed in the community. I don't. And three, in terms of the trans movement, I think it's clout chasing now. Because I actually got off of TikTok because just everything that was coming up in my feed because of who some of my, who your friends are, their stuff kind of comes in your feed. It was just all this like, it really comes across as propaganda to me. It's
Yeah,
like,
and I
you
always
know, if
felt
your parents don't love you, I accept you. You can come tell me. I don't want to tell anybody. Like that shit sounds real predatory. It
it
sounds
is.
real
I was just
predatory.
gonna say that sounds so predatory, and I never realized until recently. I've always felt that the trans community had it the absolute hardest
They
out
do.
of anyone in our space. I've always felt that, and I still feel that way. But I
100%.
never realized until recently, like all the BS
I
and some
think
of
I
it.
just I don't even think these people are part of our community though, dude. I know it sounds crazy, but I think
It's
some of these people are
a
like
buzz,
infiltrating, and
buzzword.
I think they're pedophiles. I think they're pedophiles infiltrating the community, preying on young people who don't know. And you know, they have a bad day with their mom, and it's like you got that. I don't know if you saw that weird school teacher. You know, I forget his name, but he's weird, bro. He's weird, and was upset because parents took their kids out of his class because he's asking them their pronouns. Their kids. Like, what are you doing, dude?
How are they even teaching pronouns now in school?
They are,
I was learning pronouns. It was a whole different conversation.
dude. They're
Now
asking
I
kids.
want to know, how do you teach it?
I don't know, and I don't want to know. I don't want to know. But it definitely needs to. It needs to stop. It needs to stop. And mind you, plenty of people who are super religious always had an issue with same-sex relationships, and that's fine. You know, you can have that issue and be in your space and be in your world, right? But now, because of how select people are acting, because it ain't everybody. Now, because of how select people are acting, it has placed a heavy stigma on everybody as a whole. David Chappelle said it. He said, you can talk shit about anybody you want except the alphabet people. He said, you talk crap about them, you gonna have problems. I'm like, when did it turn? That's why they call it the alphabet mafia. Like, when did it turn to this? Like, what happened? Like, I don't understand, and it's extremely disappointing. So I'm going to say this, and then you and I are going to close out. But if you are a person and you want to give us your opinion, definitely drop it in the comments. I'll make sure to drop in and answer everything. And even if you want to come on and have a discussion about that, I'm open to that too. But this shit is weird, and y'all ain't telling me otherwise. You ain't telling me otherwise. Like, not even. But just know, Mac, I'm gonna tell you, just know, because again, back to my free thinking thing, because you think differently, and because I think differently, now we're probably gonna be labeled transphobes and
Oh yeah,
anti-gay and all this other shit.
you gay
So
people being
just
anti-gay.
be ready. I'm just telling you, be ready, because that's what they do.
Oh, I know.
Be ready.
I think it's bring it on.
Bring it on. Be ready. Yo, Matt, I love you, baby. I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day and coming on to join me. Guys, I'm going to put Matt's information in the comments so you can reach out to him and talk to him. And if you want to argue with him, go fucking argue with him.
Right? I think it's gonna be funny if we're called anti-gay, but yet we're both gay. I don't understand that either.
I've been called anti a couple of things. It's cool. I'm used to it. All right, Matt, I'm about to close this out. So give me 1 second and then I'll get back. All right, family. Yo, this episode was lit. I didn't know it was going to be this lit, but it was lit. And I know some of y'all going to be mad, but enjoy being mad. So again, guys, I want to thank you for turning to the Do Work Podcast. Remember, the goal here is free thinking. I told you season 3 was going to be different. Yes, we can still talk about motivation and entrepreneurship, depending on the guest, but today is about free thinking. Today we talked about the alphabet community. And please post your comments. Let me know what you think, how you feel. Yeah, I'm with it. All right, guys. Thank you again for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe. Diva Richards on Instagram. Subscribe to my newsletter over at divarichards.com. And if you are on Instagram, join my broadcast community, Diva Richards, because there you get the episode leaks first. I trickle them to you guys first, so you can see and comment and let me know what you think. All right, guys. The day be great. Yo, did y'all check my print shirt out? Let's go.